Alrighty, we've made a beautiful logo for Luca Leather, and now we're going to be designing a banner for Luca Leather. So what I'm going to be doing is going to be a little bit different than normal. I'm going to make a product focused banner, right? So I'm going to be featuring multiple products, particularly these high quality leather bags, which is kind of what I'm guessing right now is going to be the best seller if I were to run this store. And that is what this banner is going to do. So I've already gone ahead and removed the backgrounds, and I'm just going to be plugging this in Photoshop. And here we are in Photoshop. You can see the backgrounds on these products have already been removed. I'm not going to be going over that in this lesson. Make sure you watch my multiple creative lessons, and there's one especially for removing backgrounds and dirty image features off of AliExpress products. So it's very extensive. Make sure you check that out, and you'll be able to get to where I am now. So now that I have these bags in here, I'm going to be making a background. So I've gone ahead and created that new layer. And what I want this background to do is to really capture the blackness of this leather, right? Sort of this quality feel to this type of product. That's what I'm very focused on, is these sort of leather bags, right? And these products are all going to be part of this same collection I'm going to call the English collection. So I'm going to go ahead and just make this background black for now. And what I'm going to do is I've actually gotten a image file from Adobe Stock that is basically black leather, right? So it's this leather texture, very intuitive why I would pick this image. And I'm just going to go ahead and cover the entire canvas with this, and then flip this image vertically, transform, flip vertical. Now the light is coming from top to bottom, which is a lot more logical. What I'm going to do now is change the settings over here to color dodge, right? It's that bar right above the layers, and what it does is basically it blends in that black layer we had with the leather layer. So now it's kind of a blend between the two, right? The leather by itself was a little fake. It didn't kind of look like the bags, but now with color dodging with the black layer, it kind of looks more realistic. Now what I want to do is make the backpack stand out a little bit more. So I've gone ahead and selected the layer with the backpack included in it. All right. And what I'm going to do now is click on that yin yang sign and change the brightness of that layer. Okay. And what I'm able to do is basically go to curves. And we've done this before, but I'm going to make this backpack a little brighter while making the shadows a little bit more intense simultaneously, so it just stands out a lot more, right? Doesn't look fake, it doesn't look unrealistic, and we can do a quick before and after to see the change, right? You go from here to now here, and the product just looks a lot more premium than before. So now I'm going to do the same type of treatment to the briefcase, all right? So the product on the left, and I'm going to make sure I have that one selected and not the other layers. And it's the same thing. We're going into the curves, right? And this one is going to be a little bit different in terms of settings in order to achieve the same effect, because these pictures were probably taken in different settings with different lighting. I just want to make sure that it's kind of continuous because they are part of the same collection. And anytime you have to adjust brightness or any lighting, just use this curves feature. It's super awesome. And I'm going to actually do something else, right? I'm going to go ahead and select this layer right here with the backpack and then give it a blending option, right? So you just go to right click and blending options. And I want to make this stand out. This black leather on kind of a black leather blend is just not doing the trick, right? We want to make this look even cooler. So I'm going to give this an outer glow, and that looks horrible right now. So I'm going to change the color to white, and don't worry, it's going to be a lot more subtle once we play with the features. So we're going to adjust the opacity to be a lot more normal. We're going to change the spread, right? That kind of affects just how spread out the lighting is. And I'm going to give this kind of a yellow golden light, right? So it's a lot more rich and premium and almost even angelic. So now you can see what I'm trying to do, right? It's really coming together. So let's just keep playing around with these settings until we get the right thing. And I'm going to go ahead and change around some of the blend modes as well, just to see which one I like. And I think I'm going to go for a color dodge. It's the most subtle. And let's just make the adjustments now on this new setting until we are absolutely happy with it. Okay. And it's always just good to play around. You learn new things every single time you try out a different setting or tool. And I honestly think this is looking pretty phenomenal. We're really, really close, and definitely looking way better than before we added in this effect. Perfect. I think that briefcase is looking gorgeous now. And we want to keep this same effect over to the backpack, and it's super easy to do. I'm just going to go copy that layer style, right click onto the layer with the backpack, and just click paste layer style, right? So there it is. It's the same exact effect now. And what I want to do again is actually add some depth to this image, right? So these items are kind of lonely just next to each other. I want to move the backpack behind the briefcase to really bring the briefcase out more. And based on just the research I've been doing on AliExpress, the briefcase has sold more units, so maybe people are just a lot more interested in leather briefcases versus backpacks. I'm kind of just going to make that bet, and I do think this depth makes this banner look a little bit better as well. So we're just going to move this thing around, and honestly, now that I'm looking at it as well, I think we can add some more texture to the actual background and the banner, because why not? It seems a little boring right now. And what I'm going to be doing is creating a new layer and then going to some of these brush options that are on Photoshop. If you don't see the brush options show up, you just have to go to Windows and kind of set up your workspace to show it. And it's a simple Google search away too to see how you can enable some of these brushes. And what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and pick a color, and I really like this golden allure to it, right? I really like how we have like this gold coloring around the bags, and I'm going to kind of try to make a gold coloring. I think it's very premium with these brush splatters as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just select the color over here, and I think that we're just going to try a lot of different options and kind of see what sticks. And that's pretty cool, right? You can see this paint brush effect is a pretty cool one, and you can imagine how we can use it to be even more versatile. So just playing around with the colors until I figure out something that's perfect. So this is a very solid type of splatter, but we can actually change the blending option or how it interacts with the background layer over here. And for example, I went and selected color dodge, and now you can see what's going on is some of this texture is now seeping through, right? This leather texture is seeping through when we use color dodge. And what that setting, that bar above the layers, does is it basically controls how each new layer interacts with the background layers, right? And this is really awesome. I think with the color dodge and the leather kind of seeping through, it just looks a lot more engaging than a solid kind of paint splatter. That still looks a little artificial and amateur hour, like we just copy and pasted paint. But now this looks like some expert graphic designing, and it was so easy to do, right? So most of the Photoshop battle is honestly just learning these tools and tips, and then you can just reuse them over and over again, and you can add it into your arsenal. But usually it's pretty easy to actually execute. It's just actually knowing what to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and play around with a lot of these different splatters until I find the right one that I really feel aligned with. And this is going to be a pretty fun exercise because I'm going to go into full Picasso mode and just start slinging my brush and try to just make something really cool happen. So what you're going to be hearing is some music from my good friend Benji the Homie as I go around and play with these settings and these paintbrushes.
Waiting for the world to share my vision, waiting on you to say my name. Finna get high off your ambition. All of our dreams are still the same. Hit me with the worries and the bitching. You can say all you wanna say. Yeah. Keep me on your mind.
Think about the bag all day, all the fortune and the praise. Got your boy under your cruiser vibe with the slanted eyes, keep him mystified. Walk through Osaka wearing Gucci slides. Not a role model as you want it. They're all role players. I'm like Giannis. All-star with that star flow, a little iced out as far as stars go, a little too sprung for them art hoes, dropping multi-million on designer clothes. Yo, bank account made they legs close. I got them doing tricks on my bedpost. Damn, that's dubs on me. I got Oriental girls, you could call me OG. Fake ripper said it can never be me. Got too much respect, got too much vision. Got
there to share my vision, waiting on you to say my name. Finna get high off your ambition. All of our dreams are still the same. Hit me with the worries and the bitching. You can say all you wanna say. Put the whole game on me, on me, on me. Keep me on your mind.
Share my vision, waiting on you to say my name. Finna get high off your ambition. All of our dreams are still the same. Hit me with the worries and the bitching. You can say all you want to say.
Been too broke, I don't want this grind. Don't need smoke, need some peace of mind. I ain't gonna roll over and die, yeah. Put
the whole game on me. Wanted this bag since 95, but spirit on high. Got fire, got pride. Damn motherfucker, you can put the whole game on me. Born go status and I swear I'm gon' prove it. Eyes too small, so I'm blinded to bullshit. Born J status, talking ball since birth. Knew the shit dang before I started on my first. No, I never bang, I was waiting on fame. It was still hard knocks, seeing how the city changed. And the East Coast same day, screaming my name with the hyphen included. Don't forget to do it. Want the big digits, get the stacks moving. Broke when I'm 30, goddamn, don't worry, I'm moving. Allergic to losing, it's perfect, it's proven. The vision is
Waiting
losing.
for the world to share my vision. Waiting on you to say my name. Finna get high off your ambition. All of our dreams are still the same. Maybe with the worries and addiction. You can say all you wanna say. Put the whole game on me, on me, on me. Keep me on your mind. Share my vision. Waiting on you to say my name. Finna get high off your ambition. All of our dreams are still the same. Maybe with the worries and addiction. You can say all you wanna say. Put the whole game on me, on me, on me. Keep me on your mind.
Hope you enjoyed that song. I am back now, and you can clearly see I had my share of fun going about making this banner so far with all these different paint tools. One thing I do want to call out is when you kind of saw me adjusting the brightness as so, I'm just doing it at the layer level and clicking on that yin yang sign. We've done this before, but you know, you can just get very, very layer specific if you want certain things to be brighter and certain things to be darker. So that's how you kind of achieve that effect. For all these different types of paint splatters, it was just using different types of brushes that are under the Photoshop brushes section. And any single time I kind of adjusted the angle of the splatter, I'm like right now, that's me basically pressing right click in order to get there. And it might be a different shortcut on your Photoshop, but it's a easy Google search away to figure out how to do that. And I think this thing is looking pretty good. Let me just adjust the opacity a little bit. Awesome. It is looking pretty premium. Now what I want to do is resize the bags, just make them look a little bit bigger on top of this canvas, and just make sure that these adjustments are going to be great until we add in some more text. So this is perfect looking right now, and you can see how the paint has really just added another layer of depth to our image. So now I'm using the horizontal text tool, and what I'm going to do is going to be making some text about this English kind of canvas collection. That's what I'm calling it, the English collection. And you can kind of see right now that the font has been restricted because of the clipping mask. So what we can do is just get rid of this clipping mask, and what we do is just move the layer down and then back up, and that should be the easiest way. I think there should be a setting when you right click onto the layer, but the easiest way again is just to kind of move the position of the layer, and the clipping mask will immediately get disabled. So there it is. Right now we can move it back up top, and the text is looking great. This is going to be a font called Argo, and it's from Font Squirrel, so it's absolutely free, and it's very good for fancy type of high-end items. And I've also changed the spacing back to the default, which is going to be 0. We don't need that crazy spacing anymore that we use for the logo design. So what I'm going to do is just type this out, and then we will just play around with the letters and the sizes until something kind of looks good, right? And I'm visualizing what Prestige theme looks like and what a banner will look like. So I want my text to be on this side. And whenever you do have a choice of going from left to right or right to left with text, it's always good to go from left to right, because intuitively that's how people read, right? And it's the same logic for top to bottom. Rather than bottom to top. And this collection is called the English Canvas Collection. So I'm gonna have to squeeze canvas in there as well. And I'm just gonna play around with the text over here until I find something that is really appealing. And it's so fun wrapping these things around and just picking out the best combination. But I actually really like this banner so far, and definitely got to flex our little artistic skills with these paint brushes, right? So we're going to make canvas over here. And then I'm going to make canvas extra big just because I think it needs to be emphasized. Perfect. Okay. And I really like how this English, or the English, these two words is kind of getting wrapped into canvas. And I think this looks pretty crispy right now. But I really don't like how the text doesn't really interact with the rest of the image that particularly well. And what I think I can do to fix it is just change up the orientation even more. And also I'm going to change the English to kind of capitalize letters to give it some more dramatic effect. And then I'm going to play with this layout for a little bit until I kind of figure out the right variation. And I also think eventually what we're going to have to do is kind of make this banner a little bit bigger. It's a little too horizontal for my taste right now, and especially on Prestige theme where we can support some pretty big images. I really want to take advantage of that. So I'm going to be leaving you for just a second. At least you won't be hearing from me for a bit. I'm just going to be doing this in real time to make sure that everything looks good and focus down without having to provide some commentary.
Thought in my dreams. Why you still looking at me like I'm crazy? Nah, put my heart into 16 bars, put it out and ain't nobody wanna play me. But they wanna pay me, boy, I got loans. Guess I shouldn't front around acting like I'm grown. Still feel better than I did before. Buy nice things at the Supreme store. Hey, wild times in LA. Sure hit different when you're here to stay. Every day feel like a staircase. Homie, get the fuck up out my face. At least I'm trying, at least I'm grinding. Still rep Lakeshore, driving my plates. Gotta keep in touch with the crew back home, homie. I don't know, bro, just in case. Hey, couldn't hide the look on my face. Something about your body got me going insane. Haven't made it yet, there's a time, there's a place, girl. Let me get back to your place, girl. Hitting the base. You dream too? Got good taste. So damn hard when you wanna be great. So damn hard when you tryna write bars and your landlord saying rent's late. Hold up, hold up. Hold up, hold up. Nah. Swear my shit gon' pop. One of these days when I knew how to walk. Put me on your playlist. Didn't even wanna be famous. Still out here tryna chase it. Still out here tryna chase it. Y'all ain't live the life I live. Record that shit on a track for the kids. Still blaze sword, still need a shield. Might reminisce when I'm up in her ribs. Might catch feelings if she throws and she miss. Studio next morning turn it to a hit. Guess that's Drake when I wanna be Jid. End up like a singing yellow skin Kendrick. Still be on top, boy, still made meals. Pills we pop, boy, living on thrill. Keeping that hunger for a record deal. Guess I gotta start first, miss a couple meals. Got him on the vibe first, tell me if you feel. Reel him in slow, then going for the kill. Build up my sauce shit, hope it don't spill. Hope I don't wake up, hope it's still real. Hope I got bars that can make me pop off. Then maybe then I could get your jaws off. Then maybe then I could go for a Grammy, Oscar, Emmy, anything they hand me. First they couldn't stand me, now they gon' stand me. At least I got you, cause I know you understand me. At least I go jewels for a 2-door Camry. Gotta start somewhere, girl, understand me. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Nah. Swear my shit gon' pop. One of these days when I knew how to rock.
Alrighty, I am back, and what I'm going to do now is actually make this banner even bigger than before, because you can imagine on Prestige theme we can use bigger banners, right? And we have that option where we can tick and just not use like the full size image that they want to make for us, and we can actually just use the natural dimensions that we set for the image file, which is really, really powerful. And there you go, right? We made this thing bigger. I made sure that the effect of that we were doing with this black and kind of leather blend is still there. And what we just had to do is just make sure that the same filter that we did before to achieve that look is also there for the extended layer. Really easy to do. And what we're going to do is just put the text over here because I really want to make sure that there's enough space for the button, right? I know that the button is going to be in that like bottom left hand side based on just everything we've done with Prestige so far, like right over here. And I want to make sure that there's that room, right? So it's always good to play around with a theme before you start designing on it, just so you know what you're working with. And now what I want to do is just put a logo right there, the Luka logo, right? So what I'm going to do is just directly take that because we've already messed around with it. And this is the one that's in black. So what I'm going to do is just pick a different one that is going to be in full white, right? So what I did is just went on a separate canvas and just wrote it in white. I didn't want to show you because it's a waste of time. And I'm going to minimize this thing until it's looks good on this banner. Perfect. And I think that's a great spot for the logo. But again, we have to kind of adjust everything else now that we added in this logo, right? Every time we make a change, we got to make sure the other parts of this banner is kind of changed in the right way. And perfect. And, why am I spending so much time on this? Especially, it's because this is kind of a higher end, pricier niche, right? And my suspicion is that customers that will buy this product, especially because it's going to be more expensive, need to see some of the extra, design elements that maybe we didn't need for a lower ticket, or at least like a more heavier discount oriented model than trying to do this luxury type of vibe, right? So I'm changing the opacity now. All right, so I think honestly this is looking pretty darn good. And what I'm going to do now is add in some text that's going to fill up this right side, right? It's feeling a little empty right now, and I'm just going to give some messaging around the fact that this is genuine top grain leather, which is what it says on the AliExpress product page. So we're going to go by the word of the AliExpress agent, and usually AliExpress is pretty good at policing this type of stuff. And again, if it's completely inaccurate, it's not our fault, right? All we had to go off of was just the information that the agent gave us. So what I'm going to do is put a good font over here. So I like something lighter than we were using to give it that contrast. And I'm going to make this a smaller font. So probably 12 point is pretty good. So that is awesome. And we're going to rotate this thing vertically and put it right over there. And as I'm thinking about this, I think that we could add in some even more content on the right hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and use the ellipse tool to kind of create like a bullet point. And what I'm going to do is just add, making this bullet point obviously white. And what I'm going to do is going to add in more text, right? And I'm just going to Alt, select, and drag it over, which is basically a perfect copy. And you can see how it's just perfectly same spacing, same everything. And I can just drag it over. And I'm going to make this premium craftsmanship, right? To really emphasize that part that, these high-end kind of buyers are probably looking for, right? And what I'm going to do is move that closer to the bullet point, make sure the spacing is equal. And now selecting both of these layers, right? And including the lips, I can rotate everything vertically. And that's just super easy to do on any type of image or shape or text. And I'm going to drag it over to the right. And there it is, right? This is looking a lot better. The text on the right-hand side kind of balances out all the activity that's going on in the middle and the left-hand side. And keep in mind, the button is going to be close to the left-hand side as well if we add in the button. And I think this is looking pretty phenomenal. So what I want to do at this point, right, I don't think we need to make any more changes, is export this image, and then we're going to see what it looks like in the Prestige theme. And it's going to be 2000 by 1014 pixels. And we're just going to save this file and see it in action. Alrighty, here we are on Prestige theme, and I'm just go ahead and plug it in to the slideshow element, right? Pick that image from the computer. Then after this, I got to make sure it's linked to the right collection, but let's just see how it looks. Wow, I think that looks absolutely gorgeous. And for this site, I'm only going to have one slideshow or one slide within the slideshow because it's something that we can get away with on Prestige theme. Because this logo is black, you can see that if we don't scroll, it kind of disappears, right? It's supposed to be at the top, and we kind of have to hover over it because it's a black logo, and the black isn't showing good on this kind of black leathery background. So what we can do is just fix that really quick. It is still a pretty cool effect, but not necessarily what this theme was intended. So I'm going to go into Photoshop, and I've gone ahead and using the magic wand tool, just made the text white and also got rid of the background, which you should know exactly how to do. And I'm going to export this as a PNG, and we're just going to call this logo white, and let's just see if that kind of fixes the problem. We're going to go into header, and then we're going to select the image that we want to use for the logo, right? And what we're going to do is basically see it before and after. So we know what it looks like now, And if we plug in the white version of the logo, it should look really good. There it is, right? So that is how this theme was meant to be. See how it naturally inverts to that white and black? I think it looks really crisp, and this site is looking absolutely beautiful. We got done with the banner. We got done with the logo. Now all we have to do is finish the category photos as well as some other minor tweaks, and this site is on its way to perfection.